Hi everyone, Deborah Esther here. Thank you for tuning in to another edition of Kosher 2.0. Chubi everybody. How's everyone on this terrific Tuesday? Slightly overcast, but I hear that'll be passing. I just want to thank everyone for allowing me to come alongside you on your healthcare journey. And as always, I just want to thank Hashem for his incredible mercy and his loving kindness. He's so kind in allowing me to do this broadcast and to help share some of the knowledge that he has so graciously shared with me. And hopefully all of us can, with his help, put it to good use. So yesterday we started talking about superfoods, and I kind of want to add a few more on there. And there really are so many to speak about. It's very hard to just narrow, down to a handful. But if I must, I will narrow it down as best I can. But I want to talk about a few other things. And I like to talk about things that maybe you haven't heard about, because I really don't see the point in wasting everyone's time talking about things we all are well versed in. So if anyone who knows me knows I'm not into wasting time. So today we're going to kind of take a journey down to South America, if you will. And we're going to talk about Lucuma Powder. And Lucuma Powder is a natural sweetener. So a lot of people have heard of agave and stevia and things of that nature, but Lucuma Powder is not well known. And it's too bad. It is native to the highlands of Peru, Chile, and Ecuador. And it's been around since ancient times. It's been cultivated for that long. And a lot of people in Europe and South America, they use it to sweeten ice cream, believe it or not. And some countries are a little bit more advanced when it comes to, the use of more natural foods and products, with traditions that are passed down from their family from generation to generation. Because America, at least here, is like a melting pot, and I'm sure quite like Israel is a melting pot of people coming from all different countries, we kind of get a little mix and match here, and it's kind of mainstreamed, and we kind of shy away from the traditions of our forefathers, which is really unfortunate. So, so some countries have been better at keeping certain traditions together. But back to Lucuma Powder. So Lucuma Powder, it has our minerals, which for me is a big plus, and it has carotenes. Now carotenes, they give like carrots and certain peppers and stuff that orangey color, and carotene helps to absorb chlorophyll, which is really great, especially when you're talking about taking things like spirulina and chlorella, because those things are, they use the sun's energy, they harness that. So it's really great to have carotenes running through your body, which are a precursor to vitamin A. They help absorb all that energy from the sun and kind of, give you energy for the rest of your day. And, and it also has niacin. Now, niacin, you may have heard of it as a B3. And niacin deficiencies are a lot higher than people realize. And, a deficiency in niacin can lead to high cholesterol and high triglyceride levels. Now, you've heard me say yesterday, cholesterol is not really the big bad wolf like it's been made out to be. But again, that's another broadcast. But your body needs to know how to take care of cholesterol when it needs it and when to stop making it. But cholesterol is very important to the body. It's so important that your body makes it. So I tend to think that anything that your body has to make without anything else, it's there for a reason. And cholesterol kind of acts like a glue. But we'll talk about that in another broadcast. But, niacin has also been linked to reducing the risk of heart attacks because it helps the dilation of the blood vessels. So it's really great for circulation. And if you have any kind of circulation problems in general, again, this is the importance of taking a good vitamin and mineral supplementation program, but niacin, a lot of people are very, very deficient in that. And, I take niacin, and sometimes when I've had a little bit extra, if I've had a supplement that has an extra dose of niacin or for whatever reason, sometimes you'll get what's called a niacin flush. Now, I've become so accustomed to it that every now and again, it kind of feels like my face is getting a little warm. And then I say, why is my face getting warm? They're like, oh, yeah, I took niacin. And it is temporary. It kind of makes me look like I have like a natural blush on, like I went out in the sun. Like sometimes you go out in the sun, you've been out all day and you kind of get that little flush in your face. That's kind of what a niacin flush looks like, but it does pass. And niacin has also been linked to improving memory, and it helps insomnia. And also, it helps improve that sensitivity to the sun. So it'll make you look like you've been in the sun all day, but it really will help your body to absorb that UV. Again, because it's helping to absorb that the same way the chlorophyll. So it kind of works the same way. So I don't know about you, but that kind of sounds like a really good sunscreen. And not that you should stop using your own sunscreen, but, again, nature for me always has it hands down. So the next one we're going to talk about something called Camu Camu, which has really been getting a lot of notoriety lately, and for good reason. But a lot of people have heard of it. They're not really sure what it is. It's still relatively new to a lot of people. And it is native to the Amazonian rainforest of Peru and Brazil. So it's been around for a really, really long time. So for those folks down there, it's not something that's so new. But Camu Camu has more. Now, I don't know, this is always arguable, but it states that it has more vitamin C than any other food. At any rate, vitamin C is very good. So it's a very good source of vitamin C, and it strengthens the immunity system. And it has like an antidepressant effect about it. It's got antioxidants, which are great for the eye health and for your overall. We talked about that in the antioxidant portion of the broadcast, the importance of having those antioxidants in the body at all times to kind of absorb up those free radicals. And it does have like an antiviral effect and an anti-inflammatory effect. So those are really good, especially like if you, this world that we live in, there's so many, aggravating circumstances that can lead to any kind of illness. You go and you touch a handle somewhere and you can, end up with an illness or any kind of anything. So it's really good to make sure that you have these antiviral properties always running through you. And it helps with the liver disorders. So it's really good. I mean, we talked about the liver quite a few times on this broadcast, and we talked about how the function of it and detoxing everything. You want to make sure you have optimal health because your liver is constantly detoxing things out of your body all the time. So if you suffer from any kind of liver disorder, or you just want to really start boosting up your detoxification strength in the body, that this should be a good thing to probably add into your regimen. And it does also help with the remission of shingles and cold sores, which is, again, because it's an antiviral. This is the reason why it kind of helps in doing that. Now, of course, everything at its therapeutic level, to get the maximum benefits of it. But this is really something that's really good. Again, it's not that hard to find because it's starting to gain a lot of popularity. So it's not as difficult to find as perhaps maybe the Lucuma Powder would be. Lucuma Powder, like I said, we have a few natural stores around here, so we don't really have an issue with finding things like that. But Lucuma Powder is around, and it doesn't quite taste like sugar. But, with all things natural, you have to start readjusting, I would think would be the good word, of what things taste like. And really start opening up your palate to other things. But again, it might be more appropriate to sweeten a sugar or a cake or something like that. And you have to know, again, what you're using what and what works best with what. But Lucuma Powder is something you probably might want to pick up just for the health benefits alone. And try it, if you don't like it in a tea, try it in your coffee. If you don't like it in that way, try it in your cakes or whatever. Just try it in your yogurt, whatever you do. But it's really good for you. And today, lastly, we're going to talk about one of my favorite superfoods. And I think I mentioned it once or twice on this broadcast, but I really want to talk about it a little bit more in depth. And that's called the BayABAB fruit. And the BayABAB fruit comes from as you guessed it, the BayABAB tree. And there's 9 species of it, and it comes from I think it's called the Adansonia tree family. But the BayABAB tree is native in Africa, and it's been known as the tree of life. And for the native Africans, it's been viewed as a symbol of hope. And I believe it's in the African savannas that they grow. And these trees have been long revered for many, many reasons. Not only they use the tree for energy and somewhat, but their healing properties have been really treasured, I guess you would say would be a good word, in the native parts where they grow. And they are rich in vitamin C. And vitamin C is really good. We talked about it already twice here in this broadcast because it helps to absorb iron. And a lot of people, have issues with iron deficiencies as well. And it is higher in fiber than many other foods. And it is one of the highest rated ORAC foods. Now remember, the ORAC is the antioxidant rating card, and it has one of the highest ORAC scores available. And the benefits of it, I believe, and we talked about, I don't know if it was yesterday but in a recent broadcast I talked about better sources of potassium, and avocado would be a better source of potassium than a banana. But the BayABAB, in order to match the potassium, you would have to eat 4 avocados just to match the potassium in just one BayABAB fruit. And calcium, you'd have to drink about 1.5 glasses. For the fiber content, you'd have to eat 10 apples. And for the protein content, you'd have to eat 2.5 bunches of kale. And BayABABs, what they're very, very famous for is their ability to hold water in their trunks. And I believe it's stated that they can hold 100,000 liters of water, which equates out to 26,000 gallons of water. I mean, that's really, really, that's just phenomenal. I mean, if you think about it, you're talking about Africa, a place where there's a lot of, drought and what have you. And, they don't really get all that much rainfall. But, just in my mind, I would like to think, can you imagine how ancient some of that water is that's in the trunk of this tree? And it's just there waiting for you. It's just all there. And like we spoke about before, if you were to think about this, these are the kind of foods I eat every day. I mean, can you imagine? And I put most of this in my smoothie, by the way. So that's just one meal out of the day. And we talked about the ORAC score. You can kind of see how it's very easy for me to hit a score of 100 to 200,000 a day eating foods like this that are just so high with their ORAC content. But can you imagine, this goodness is just flowing through every day. And we talked about it's like putting on your clothes and going out to a cold, winter's day. This really is like your armor for the body to kind of help rejuvenate and get you going. And again, these are just a handful of things. I still want to get into tea therapies and flower remedies and things of that nature. I mean, I don't think people even have an inkling of how much wisdom Hashem has put into the creation of the vegetation of the world, let alone everything else. I mean, it's very hard to study these things and not be in awe of Hashem's greatness. It's just so mind-boggling that these little things, have so much power. They have so much energy within them. And we pass them on by for like a pizza or an egg roll or whatever have you. And, not that those things aren't good, but, there's so much goodness in the fruits and vegetables that Hashem has made for us. And it's just there waiting for us to discover. So, I really wanted to just start bringing out some of these things. If you're venturing out to these natural food stores, things to start looking out for that they're really, good to have. And it's funny, I was at the natural food store today and we were talking and, it's so funny because she knows I do this broadcast. And we were just talking about like all these things that, that I've been kind of talking about with you guys. And it's true. We had the conversation. I mean, can you remember a time when, now I'm 40. So like, if you imagine like, even if you're 40 plus, and can you imagine a time when you went to school and you heard so many people have gluten intolerance or chas v'shalom that they have the C word or, that we never really heard of those things. And all of a sudden it's everywhere. And it really makes you think what's going on, what's different. And what's different is the way we're eating. We're not paying attention to what's going on. So again, this broadcast is just here to bring that awareness to you and help you to start your own process of looking in to all the goodness that Hashem has out there for all of us. But I said I was going to cut it down to these, but again, I do want to start going into like tea therapies and tell you some of the stories of my own family when it comes to tea remedies and flower remedies, which are really, I mean, my grandmother is really, really huge on this kind of wisdom. And she's, she probably could be like, there used to be this show, back when I wasn't so frum and watching the TV, there used to be this show called Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman. And I always think of her that way. She's like Dr. Quinn. But she's so wise in those things. And so I'm really happy to, kind of be a little apprentice of hers, kind of learning. And I hope to learn all the things that not only that Hashem's given to her, but all the things that Hashem will give to me as well, and to hopefully you guys as well. But that's it for today. I just want to thank you guys again for tuning in to another of Kosher 2.0, and I hope to be with you all again soon.